Sycophancy versus progressive thinking, a SeneGambian case study. I'll be drawing examples between Gambia and Senegal in this short video, just to highlight some of our cultural differences that we do have. Cultural as in attitude, as in thinking, as in behavior. And I'm flexed down for Gainako. Looking at Senegal, just recently, Macky Sall reduced his term limits. A very bold step for an African leader. As we all know, most African leaders want to stay in power as much as possible. But hey, the Senegalese people still challenged him in this position. Not that they didn't believe in reducing these term limits, but how he was going to reduce his term limits. It was not a unanimous decision to declare the country as an Islamic state or something of that nature. Yet he was criticized. Whilst I was there in Senegal, he was entertaining opposition, members of the opposition. Macky Sall is not held as a god or treated as a god. Leaders in Senegal are challenged to ensure that they are on their toes. I want to call this progressive thinking. And this is something that us as Gambians can definitely learn from. Another aspect that I can highlight also is John Sek. When it was alleged that he was involved in money laundering, he was criticized all across the board. And of course there were some fans, but not many people were caught defending the indefensible. Talk about sycophancy in the Gambian culture, in our Gambian behavior that we are exhibiting. Given the seriousness that the Gambia finds itself in, it's important that one highlights of course, the anti-Mandinka rhetoric that Yahya Jammeh has been bandying around. Surely none of us wants the Gambia to fall into the same predicament of Rwanda and other countries that have tribal conflict. But the sycophancy was apparent. Gambians were cheering him on. Mandinkas are part of the problem, not Yahya Jammeh. Therein lies a serious problem. And I must highlight that in that crowd, you will find Gambians of different tribes. Some of them even Mandinkas. Cheering on. And it is surely a cause for concern. It breeds what we have now. Hypocrisy. We know something is not right, but yet still we go along with it. Because either there's something to gain, or we just don't have the courage to stand up and do the right thing. Another aspect of the sycophancy that I want to highlight in our Gambian culture is the refusal to challenge those in power. It breeds a very relaxed environment. Also, it allows those in power to be corrupt, to go about doing things any way they feel like. You can see this even in our Christian culture. Religious leaders are apparently beyond criticism. Me being a young guy, what do I know? I come out criticizing. When I see something that was wrong, I criticized, thinking that that was the right thing to do. not knowing that that might even be a big deal. So we need to start thinking at ourselves. When the religious leaders are doing the wrong thing, when even musicians are doing the wrong thing, and followers, Gambians, us, we are giving them even more validity, not criticizing them, not telling them that this is wrong. Who is the problem? Who needs to change? I think we need to start thinking about moving Gambia from where I think it is, sycophant stage to a more progressive nation. Remember, we are at a very serious juncture right now. The anti-Mandinka rhetoric, the Islamic State declaration, and many more loom. Of course, the uprising happening in the Gambia, the protesters that are being held, family members that refuse to come out and fight for their loved ones. Many, many, many problems. Yahya Jammeh is not always the problem. Sometimes we need to look at ourselves in the mirror hard and ask ourselves, what do we stand for? Do we want to move Gambia into a progressive country, or do we want to continue in the sycophancy?